Ramen Nation, Chris Cobain here, bringing you guys NPA Season 3, the Conference Championships, or the semifinals, however you want to put it, as the Philadelphia Braviaries take on the Minnesota Vikavolts and coach, the man who needs no introduction, Dan himself, aka aDrive, my boy. This is a really big matchup, obviously, for a lot of different reasons. For starters, it's the conference championships. Whoever wins this wins the Kanto division and goes on to the finals of the entire thing. This is where he made it last season when we lost to Vump, so we're looking to push past that. Obviously, both teams were powerhouses last season. Both teams went under some name changes in the offseason. He went from the New York Metapods to the Minnesota Vikavolts. We went from the Baltimore Blazingans to the Philadelphia Braviaries. The success of both teams has not stopped because of those things. We're 1 and 2 literally in the whole league. He's 1, I'm 2, and we're playing for a lot here. So there's a very big matchup. Dan's got a very scary team, and it matches up pretty well against us. I'd say the matchup is pretty even, to be honest. We both have ways to beat the other guy. It's really just going to come down to who plays it better, obviously. So let's go ahead and take a look at his team, leading off with his Tier 1, which is Zygarde. Zygarde is... Now, I infamously have a lot of hate for Zygarde. I really don't like it as a Pokemon because of a lot of people seem to think it's some kind of ridiculous god of a mon when it's really not in general. But that being said, in league format like this, in draft format, in the counter team format, Zygarde is actually a lot better than it is otherwise in just regular play, because Zygarde has an immense move pool. Very underrated one, actually, that a lot of people don't give it credit for. Dan's run things like Superpower and Rock Slide. It gets Power Whip and all sorts of crazy stuff that you wouldn't expect it to get, which is it's a really good mon in that form. It can do both physical and special. Obviously, its special bulk is crazy. I fully expect him to run this, as it is it's not his only, but it's certainly his best response to Thundurus, who was obviously my team MVP this season. So he'll definitely be running that. Possibly Assault Vested. He might get a little crazy on us and run like a more specially defensive, maybe like a Rest Hydration set, but I really doubt that because of the hail and all that stuff. So second up, we've got Infernape, another very scary draft format Pokemon. Again, insane coverage on Infernape. He hits a lot of stuff. He's very hard on the physical and special side. That's the key to performing well in draft leagues, in my opinion. 108 base speed makes him faster than most of my team. It is slower than Azelf and Dugtrio, which is both very important things. But definitely something he would probably be running. Alolan Ninetales has been kind of an anchor for him this entire season, with his ability to set up Hail and then Aurora Veil under the Hail with that Light Clay. Gives both screens Reflect and Light Screen at the same time for 8 turns. Incredibly powerful. It's allowed things all season to kind of go off while that bulk is intact. It's not too powerful on its own, but a Blizzard that can't miss is not a joke. Moonblast hits very hard. Freeze Dry is not a joke. The one thing that's about this is it's pretty much full-on countered by Empoleon. The likelihood that he runs Hidden Power Fire to stop Scizor, who would otherwise destroy him, is very high, which is going to leave him really vulnerable to Empoleon. So I fully expect his moveset to be Blizzard, Moonblast, and then either the one of three or two of three things: Freeze Dry, Aurora Veil, or Hidden Power Fire. I more predict the Hidden Power Fire and Aurora Veil side of things, which will make him very weak to Empoleon. Not to mention the fact that Defog, which Empoleon can run, obviously removes screens, including Aurora Veil. So that kind of makes it rough for him to get Empoleon going, or to get Ninetales going. He does have answers to Empoleon, obviously. He can use the screens to bait my Defog and get free switches into something like Infernape. So there's that. Vikavolt, he hasn't really run it, his team mascot. He hasn't run it too much this season, but I know that it 6-0'd somebody earlier in the year. Anytime he has run it, it's pretty much put in a lot of work. It actually has a fairly good matchup against my entire team. If it runs like Hidden Power Ice to hit Zygarde, it could be very scary, to be honest with you. So it's something to look out for. Alolan Sandslash is something else he also has not run very often. It does combo very well with Ninetales, but unfortunately, It's super destroyed by Scizor in every way, shape, and form. There's absolutely nothing it can do to it. Even if it wants to try to set up Swords Dance, I resist both of his stabs, and he does not resist Bullet Punch, being Steel and Ice, which means he's not that relevant, to be honest. He also can't really afford to allow Scizor to set up. His team does struggle with Scizor to a degree, especially if he allows me to set up a Swords Dance or two, whereas something like Vaporeon or even Necrozma will no longer be able to really take those U-turns. Definitely not something he can toy with. He does have Infernape, but Infernape doesn't even, Infernape doesn't like to take boosted Bullet Punches either. Baburicle. Baburicle is just a really good shell smashing Pokemon. Obviously, it gets Tough Claws, Cross Chop, X-Scissor, I think. Razor Shell is only real Water Step, so that kind of hinders it. But it's very, very strong, especially with a Shell Smash up. Something to look out for. Necrozma has been one of his MVPs. He's run it pretty much every single week. He runs it pretty defensive almost every week. He did run it really offensive last week when he took on Swami and actually got that turn 1 KO on Mew with Z Dark Pulse, I think it was. Or was it? Yeah, I think so. So definitely something that he can work around with. It's definitely a potential Z move Pokemon for sure to hit something very hard. It does get Brick Break to fight Empoleon to an effect, so there's that. A very, very bulky, toxic Rock Setter, excuse me, all that kind of stuff. Krookodile, another Pokemon he's run a lot this year. It obviously Intimidate or Moxie. 92 base speed makes it pretty fast. It's very, very bulky with Intimidate, to be honest. Can easily soak up hits. It actually takes like +1 1,000 arrows from Zygarde. Is something that I've calced. Another Rock Setter, obviously. Knockoff can be very, very annoying. Crunch is strong. Stone Edge, Superpower. Obviously, Earthquake can be an issue. It does get Fire Fang as well, so it will almost certainly be carrying that as kind of Scizor bait. We fully expect that. Shaman, the regular form, obviously. Shaman's, I believe, one of the base 100s across the board. He's a very good Pokemon in general. Seed Flare is very, very strong. Obviously, can lower... It doesn't get the Serene Grace that Shaman Sky does, but it still can lower your special defense by 2 stages. It's really, really rough. Earth Power hits Empoleon. It gets Dazzling Gleam to hit Zygarde, likely running Him Power Fire for Scizor, and that makes him kind of trash my entire team, to be honest. So that's something I very, very much see coming. That exact set. Seed Flare, Dazzling, Hidden Power Fire, and Earth Power to hit Empoleon. So definitely something I see coming 100%. Very, very scary. Dragalge. His second of his 2 dragon types, along with Goodra, obviously. Dragalge just hits very, very hard. Adaptability is a very strong ability. Draco Meteor and Sludge Wave absolutely obliterate pretty much everything. He is walled by Empoleon to an effect. He does get Focus Blast. He is walled by Scizor, so again, if he decides to run it, Hidden Power Fire would be a thing. The only thing about Dragalge is that it's very slow, it's very frail on the physical side, and I have Dugtrio to trap it, so I really don't see Dragalge coming, but if it does, it definitely could put in some work. And he rounds out his team with Vaporeon, another Pokemon I just don't like, but it's annoying. It's definitely very annoying, very, very bulky, a Wish Passer, a Cleric with Heal Bell, something he can really utilize. My team doesn't rely too much on status, and it doesn't really allow a lot of opportunities for Wish Passing either, especially with Thundurus on the team, so I don't know how likely he is to bring it, but if he does, we definitely have ways to stop it. So he's got a really good team. Definitely very scary, definitely matches up to, for me and considerably well in certain areas. A lot of his stuff is going to be forced to run Hidden Power Fire to stop Scizor, namely things like Ninetales, Necrozma if he wants it, Shaman, Dragalge, all pretty much have to run Hidden Power Fire if they want to really touch Scizor. So I feel like he's going to do a lot of game playing for Scizor. So when we lead off my team here, we're leading off with Zygarde. So that means we are not running Scizor this week. Now, that sounds a little weird. His team does have a lot of stuff that Scizor can fight, but the Infernape sitting there kind of annoys me, and the fact that I'm pretty sure he's going to be running a lot of Hidden Power Fire on this team kind of scares me away from wanting to use Scizor, not to mention things like Krook Run, Fire Fang and stuff. Just a lot of coverage. So we figured that we could 100% afford to leave Scizor out this week, and it would take a lot of his game planning and kind of throw it out the window is kind of the play here. So we're starting off with Green Arrow this week, which is Zygarde. Obviously, he's Jolly, Aura Break, Dragonium Z. He is run a Dragonium Z. He is our Z move user this week, running 1,000 arrows, Dragon Dance, Extreme Speed, and Outrage. Now, last week, Damn Face Swami, who ran Z Dragon or Dragonium Z, Haxorus, who use Z Dragon Dance. I will not be making that mistake. If my Z move will be Outrage 100% of the time. So we're running 20 HP, 252 attack, and 230 speed with that Jolly, which is going to allow us to outspeed Max Speed Crocodile, and obviously allow us to outspeed Scarf Crocodile after a +1. 1,000 arrows. We debated back and forth whether or not we wanted 1,000 arrows or Earthquake, because his only actual immunity to us to Earthquake is Vikavolt. But to be honest, when we looked at Vikavolt, we saw that he actually can be somewhat of an issue. And there's not much that the damage boost will actually help with. I think the only thing that it actually mattered was +0 Earthquake, one-shot Sand Slash, or +0 1,000 arrows does not quite one-shot Sand Slash. So that actually could be somewhat of an issue in certain aspects, but shouldn't be too much of a big deal. And it does allow us to hit that Vikavolt without having to Outrage or Z Outrage, because, man, I don't want to waste it on that. Dragon Dance and Extreme Speed, very obvious what we do. This guy is just strong against his team in general. Z Outrage is going to do a lot of damage. It's going to one-shot Shaman. It's going to one-shot most variants of Necrozma at +1, aside from literally max defense. It does like maximum like 97 or something like that, so it'll still take a lot of damage. It's still like a really good chance to one-shot after rocks. So there's that. It also just puts in a lot of work in general. The one thing that really puts a hindrance on me, obviously, aside from Hail-boosted Sand Slash, is the Hail Setter itself, Ninetales, so that could be a little bit of a problem. But if we can weaken it so E-Speed kills or remove it completely, we can Outrage for free. There's nothing else on his entire team that can stop Outrage from being a thing. I don't think he's got a single other... No, he's got no other resistance other than Sand Slash, I guess. And 1,000 arrows, the combination just kind of rolls his team. If he doesn't bring Ninetales, Zygarde kind of just wins. And if he does bring Ninetales, all it's really going to take is +1. At +1,000 arrows, pretty much, it almost one-shots. Any kind of relevant chip damage is going to make 1,000 arrows one-tap. Ninetales, it means it's not that big of a deal anymore. And we can kind of just go off from there. So that leads us into the second mon this week, and if you thought us not bringing Scizor's weird, well, why don't I go ahead and let you guys know that we didn't even bring our 1-2 punch. Neither of them. Scizor's not there. Thundurus is not being brought this week in this level of a matchup. Now, hear me out. Hear me out here. Goodra, Dragalge, Shaman, Ape is faster, Ninetales is faster, Sand Slash is faster under Hail, Necrozma walls well, Crocodile can be scarfed. We just saw nothing where we really felt like that Thundurus would be really helpful this week. The only really set we toyed with was like a scarfed U-turner to kind of bait out things like Goodra and U-turn out into like Zygarde and stuff. But we found a better way to do that, I think, later in the team builder. So we just decided that we're not bringing Thundurus this week. There's just too much on his team. There was things we could have done. We could have run... We actually kind of messed with like a full physical set Thundurus, or at least a mostly one, so we can bait in Goodra and hit it very hard with certain moves. I actually brought up Z Hammer Arm, which almost one-shots Goodra, and almost one-shots Crocodile after Intimidate. But we went against it. There was better ways to handle what he had, so we just decided not to bring him this week. I really honestly feel like it's the right decision. I don't think it would have been he would have been a huge help. He would have put in work, but I think there's other mons on the team that have the ability to put in more work. So we're going with those. So we're on a King DDD anyway. Empoleon this week. Calm Torrent, Shookaberry. Obviously will cut down on ground damage. He is running Hydro Pump, Defog, Toxic, and Ice Beam. Running 252 HP, 204 special defense, and 52 speed. He's going to allow it to outspeed Vaporeon so that we can Toxic it if need be. This set's very simple for us. Hydro Pump guarantees a one-shot on Crocodile, where Skull does not. Defog is obvious. Toxic is for Necrozma, more so than anything else. It also can hit Goodra, obviously, and Vaporeon, just bulk in general. Ice Beam, it hits Shaman pretty hard. If it's an offensive Shaman, it does 3-hit KO. The Shookaberry, very easy as well. It allows us to take an Earthquake from Crocodile, combo hit back with a Hydro, which is a one-tap. It allows us to take an Earth Power from Shaman if need be, hit for about 40-ish%. This thing actually, if Shaman switches in on an Ice Beam, we actually 1v1 Shaman, I think no matter what. I think even if he hits us with, unless he crits, I think if he hits us with 2 Earth Powers, we live. If he hits us with a Seed Flare and lowers my special defense, I'm pretty sure we still live both because of our high bulk, a Seed Flare or the Shuka dropped Earth Power. And we can, so if he switches on Ice Beam, we actually just kill, unless he like Synthesis or something, but I don't think he can run Synthesis. He needs the coverage too much. I guess he could drop Dazzling and rely on Seed Flare drops to beat Zygarde, but I really don't see that happening. And I do expect an offensive one, maybe like Specs. He could run AV as well, I guess, but I just don't see that coming either. If it does happen, it happens. We'll have to find something else to do with him. We have other ways to fight him anyway, but very, very easy. Normal set this week, nothing crazy. We actually also can take an Earthquake from Sandslash if need be. I don't really envision that, but it's there. You know, it's a thing. So, Empoleon, very, very important. Coming in number 3 this week, we're running It's a Trap. The Dugtrio, yet again, Dugtrio, very, very, very important. I don't know when that'll ever change. Probably not. It'll probably never change. But we're running Jolly, obviously Arena Trap, and the Focus Sash. Running Earthquake, Toxic, a Stealth Rock, and Reversal, actually. Which is actually very, very cool. We're running 68 HP, 252 attack, 4 in both of our defenses, and 180 speed. Sorry for the car outside. 180 speed is going to allow us to outspeed Ninetales. And Trapping is just huge against his team. So he's got a lot of like really specially defensive Pokemon on his team. Goodra, Ninetales, and Dragalge, all very, very specially defensive. They're all not wanting to get trapped by Dugtrio. So the plan, if we can chip Goodra, switching into Dugtrio ensures its death, especially with that Sash up. Ninetales can't fight us. We're faster than him. Dragalge gets 1D'd. A weakened Crocodile, a non-scarfed Infernape, or even a scarfed Infernape if we have our Sash intact. All that stuff. Sandslash without the Hail Up, that kind of stuff. Barracle without Shell Smash. Necrozma gets Toxic. Vaporeon gets Toxic. Reversal allows us to obliterate Crocodile at 1 health, even at -1. Which is very, very important, actually. This set just does a lot of work. It's very, very strong against his team, just to trap certain things. A lot of that bulk that he's got can really get messed up by this set with the combination of trapping his more physically frail mines, Toxic and things like Necrozma and Vaporeon, and removing his only Intimidator with just a straight reversal to the face. We just completely can do a lot of work against his team. Very, very good. The Sash can be a little iffy because of Hail from Ninetales, obviously, which will instantly break it. He does have Scar potential in Crocodile and in Infernape. He also can run Mach Punch on Infernape, which he has. So that stuff is kind of iffy on that regard. But if we can make it work, it'll do really well. We didn't really need another item anyway. We could have went with like Life Orb or something, but killing ourselves is kind of not the best decision, honestly. So on with that. So going in number 4 this week, this is the first. This is a first. We've been looking to run this set all freaking year. I've brought it up 100 different times. We've never had a chance to run it. It's been the glue that's held our team together because of its bulk. We've never got to run it offensive. You may have predicted by now. It is going to be Choice Specs Primarina. So, there is a Pokemon on his team, and actually a couple kinda, where the bulk of Primarina would have been really nice. That would be Infernape and somewhat Sandslash, and actually to somewhat of a degree Crocodile as well. But we have other ways on the team to handle all of those things pretty easily, so we felt that we were able to run Specs. He has absolutely nothing to do against his Primarina. Pretty much every time Primarina comes in, something gets 2-tapped. The only switch-ins he has that really matter, actually the only one that actually matters too much is Shaman. Everything else kind of just dies. Goodra can't, I don't think Goodra can take 2 Moonblast, but it can't fight me back anyway. Infernape, waste of time. Ninetales can't fight back. Vikavolt, I'm faster than it, unless it's Scarfed or some crap. Sandslash can't take 2 Skulls, doesn't want to get burnt. Barracle, same thing. Necrozma is very bulky, but he doesn't want to eat those Moonblasts. Vaporeon gets 2-shot by Moonblast. Shaman gets 2-shot by Moonblast. Dragalge, unless his Assault Vest, gets 2-shot, you guessed it, by Moonblast. He kind of just rolls through this team. The natural block that Primarina has will allow him to do really, really well against Infernape, unless it runs Thunder Punch, and even then, Sandslash, Goodra even, Crocodile even, although we're not running any bulk, really. We're running 176 HP, though. 4 defense, 252 special attack, running Moonblast, Parasong, Energy Ball, and Scald. The set's pretty easy. Moonblast just rolls his entire team. Scald, it's for Sandslash more so than anything else. I also hits Infernape harder, I guess. Energy Ball is for Vaporeon specifically, but Moonblast, unless it's like max special defense, Moonblast will 2-tap. And even if it is, Energy Ball does 2-tap with ease, so nothing to worry about there. This thing does really, really well. It can come in for pretty much free against Vaporeon. It comes in pretty easily against Necrozma most of the time. It can come in pretty easily against all non-Thunder Punch variants of Infernape as well. And it actually does very, very well against non-freeze-dry Ninetales, because Blizzard is resistant and Ninetales just isn't strong enough for Moonblast to hit something this bulky that hard, and then we just combo back with that Specs and just go in. So super, super important. Very, very good mon. He's got very, very, very little answers to it. And if we kill Shaman, or he decides not to bring Shaman, he kind of just loses to Primarina, but he's going to bring Shaman, so it doesn't matter. Coming in number 4 this week, and I mentioned before that I felt like we had a better Scarf U-turner than Thundurus, and that is what we're running here with Navi. We are running, as of this week, running Timid, Levitate, and that Choice Scarf, obviously, and he is running max special attack, 250 special attack, 44 speed, or 44 HP, excuse me, and 212 speed, which is going to allow us to outspeed +1 or Choice Scarf if he decides to run that Alolan Ninetales. We're also obviously faster than Scarf Infernape, Scarf Krook, faster than his entire team. He doesn't have a single Pokemon that's faster than this base, so we do outspeed his entire team without fail. We are faster than +2 Sandslash under Hail. We are faster than +2 Vikavolt after an Agility. No big deals there. Psyshock, U-turn, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. Psyshock hits Goodra and Dragalge very, very hard, as well as hitting a lot of his team pretty hard. U-turns for Momentum. Flamethrowers for Sandslash. Vikavolt, Ninetales, what have you, Shaman. Shadow Balls for Necrozma. Pretty simple. Nothing real. I have to really go into too much detail here for you guys. Just a pretty simple set in general. It puts in a lot of work. He's pretty much a dedicated lead. He 2-taps any version of offensive Shaman with Flamethrower and can eat even a Specs Seed Flare pretty easily. U-turn's just really strong. If we can keep this thing healthy, there's not much you can do to it. The best way he's got to really chip it, other than Hail, is by hitting me with Shaman, because I can't one-shot it, and if I get the opportunity to hit it, I will 100% take any damage I can get on it, because it's that scary. Shaman's actually the biggest threat on his entire team, in my opinion, so if we have an opportunity to hit it hard with Flamethrower, I will absolutely take that and take the Seed Flare. I'm completely fine with that. And then after that, we just come in, chip, Psyshock things, U-turn out, whatever, you know, simple stuff like that, and just try to get momentum with U-turn, so... And that leads us into the last Pokemon this week, and we are running him again. He put in the most work last week, securing the final 4 kills. That's my boy Cofagrigus. Now, we are running the same Trick Room Nasty Plot set, but this week he is not the Z-move because we really felt like Zygarde needed to have the Z-move this week. But we are running the same style of Majora, Quiet, Mummy, 252 HP, 252 special attack, 4 special defense, Shadow Ball, Trick Room, Nasty Plot, Grass Knot. He has no Ghost Resist other than Crocodile. Grass Knot one-shots at +2. I didn't even know we got that, by the way. We set up Nasty Plot. We set up Trick Room. We've got that Cobra Berry to eat a knockoff, which means if he wants to switch in, which he very well might, he might see Majora if I come out on like Necrozma or anything really. He'll want to go into Crocodile as we set up Nasty Plot. He'll hit us with knockoff. It does like 25-ish%. And then we set up our Trick Room. 1 Deegan with Grass Knot. Boom. Just start Shadow Balling. Now, without the Z move, we are a little vulnerable. We can obviously not one-shot Goodra. I don't even know if we 2-shot it. I'll have to calculate. I don't even know if we 2-shot it at +2. I think we do. We don't one-shot Ninetales actually at +2. We don't one-shot Dragalge. We don't one-shot Vaporeon. So there is a little bit of an issue there. He does have a lot of that bulk to where it's not going to get one-tapped by that Shadow Ball. But if we can chip a few things, set up rocks maybe, get some stuff going there, or whatever else, just kind of remove his more bulky stuff and leave him with more of his frail stuff, then we can kind of just Shadow Ball through his entire team with that Trick Room up. It's super, super Crocodile bait on purpose. We really, really feel like we can bait in Cofagrigus, or we can bait in Crocodile as his one true answer as we set up that nasty plot, set up that Trick Room, take the knockoff, or the crunch if he wants to click it. He might. I've run Z move on this pretty much every time I've run it. And then we hit it with that grass knot. We move on with life, you know what I'm saying? Move on with our life after that. So another time that he's just going to be clean up, if we can kill a couple of things, chip a couple of things, he kind of just comes in and wins pretty easily, to be honest. Dan doesn't have a lot to do against it because of his lack of ghost resist, and because of the fact that his one true one gets one tapped and is baited really hard by this set. We just kind of come in and clean up pretty easily if we can kill a couple things and get some chips going. So that is it for this team builder. Obviously, you guys, as per usual, thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it. The match will be coming out tomorrow as per usual on Saturday. Me versus Dan. It's going to be an intense, epic, insane fight. I'm very nervous for it. This is a very big match for me, so I'm very, very nervous. And we'll see what happens. You know, if we win, then we make it to the finals, and we'll see what happens. If we lose, it's our second straight semifinals loss. Reiki will roast me. I'll be very sad. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys in the actual match. Should be a very, very good one, so I hope to see you all there. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys as the Braveries take on the Vikavolts in the most epic matchup of the NPA year so far, I think. All right? All right, peace, Ramen Nation. See you guys in the match. Peace.